All right, we're live. By the way, I have to have an intervention with you.
About?
Water.
You don't like the cucumber water?
You have an addiction to weird-ass flavored water.
It's no calories, no.
But you get caught up in marketing in like the most hilarious ways. You didn't buy that water because it's cucumber water. I know why you bought that water. It's called Wonder Water.
Oh.
You like if there's some sort.
It's a nice little aftertaste. It's like I'm being at a hotel.
Like what's the fakey? Like if I drink this, I won't be hungover. You get duped by that stuff.
The liquid IV.
No, there was another one that you bought. It was like Liquid Sunshine or something like that.
Yeah. Was it called the morning after? It's something strange like that.
It is something more. Yeah,
it's something problematic.
No. Yeah, you're right. It was like a morning. Yes, like next morning or something like that.
They're good.
You get the packets too, like the flavored like electrolyte. You have a problem.
I do.
You're susceptible to water marketing, and you just don't buy water. Like, what's wrong with water? Water's been here forever.
You're the one.
We're not here without water.
You're the one who says the tap is not good enough. I bring in the ice machine.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up.
That was you, not me.
Have you seen the water come out of that faucet though?
Yes.
It'll put hair on my chest.
Maybe you need it.
No, I don't need it on my chest. I need it up here. Anyway, you ready to go?
I'm ready to hockey this thing up.
God, you know what this cucumber water is like? I feel like I'm at a spa.
Yes. That's the whole point.
You know, are we hanging out with Aho in the sauna with my cucumber water?
I bet you they have cucumber water. Yes,
He probably does. Yeah. He probably does. Anyway, we're live. Let's do this. Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Maybe you've got an Excel spreadsheet in the cloud that keeps track of all the ridiculous waters that you have tried to keep yourself hydrated, like Joe Giglio.
Everything's local. I enjoy B. Cron's comment there.
I
wanted to hockey it up today, but
do we have breaking news on the OG? What do we got today?
We have a new pope, first American pope.
We like for real? Like we actually got for real pope?
We do. Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
Went to Villanova. Villanova class is 77. I think Brooke Pryor beat everyone to the joke by saying, well, now we know why Chris Jenkins' shot went in. I think she did.
But I thought God was a Tar Heel because he made the sky Carolina blue, Joe.
You'll note, though, that Villanova of late has been incorporating that same blue in their color scheme. So
from BK Ron on the YouTube comments, how much money is the Vatican giving to the Big East NIL? Look, this is kind of like where we start on the show. Like nothing's coming up ACC, man. Nothing.
I know.
You can't even get an ACC. I thought we were accomplishing greatness. Are you telling me an ACC Pope would not accomplish greatness in the Catholic Church? And if there's one thing that the Catholic Church and the ACC are very in line with, it's making sure their money's right. Okay? Because right now, Jim Phillips is out there with the collection plate, just trying to find ways to make. I mean, at some point, Jim Phillips is going to go to an ACC kickoff and say, we are sending a mission to Guatemala and we need your money. So we're going to pass around the collection plate.
UNC football is opening the season in Ireland next year.
This is true.
Pretty much the same, right?
This is true. Yes, Sister Ellen and Sister Janet, they're all headed to Ireland. These are actual teachers that I had back in the day, whether at St. Joan of Arc, in Boca Raton, or Cardinal Gibbons here in Raleigh. So yeah, there's some things in line between the Catholic Church and their standing is not as big as it once was too.
Where was Pope Leo on the betting board? I wonder. On the odds, I can't imagine that an American was the odds-on favorite to win this thing.
No, I mean everybody was obsessed with the Pizza Balla.
Yeah, Italian
guy with the last name Pizza Balla. He couldn't come up with a better situation.
My people were the last.
Yeah.
Last you're allowed to make fun of.
Thank you, Sopranos. This is Italian-American discrimination. That's what it's all about. Now, for Paul, maybe Boston College can share some Vatican endowment. You'd think. You'd think. From Juan, Villanova, an automatic Q1 now? I mean, you got to think that. I mean, they got the Pope, for heaven's sake, right?
It could be like you're saying, though. It might be powers in the past. Like what good is it now?
No,
Right?
It's not what it once was. Something tells me that
So they should be in the ACC is really what I'm getting at.
Yeah, like somewhere there's got to be a president saying, we cannot leave the Vatican behind.
Jim Phillips, devout Catholic, would no doubt say we can't let Villanova die on the vine.
Ken saying he thought the betting favorite was the person from the Philippines.
That sounds right. He's either singing for Journey or going to be the Pope.
I was going to say that's the career path for a Filipino these days, right? You're either going to be Steve Perry's replacement or you're going to be the Pope. One of the two.
Yeah.
One of the two, right? One of the two. I mean, look, are there some similarities between Catholic Church and the ACC? Yes. Yes, they are. They're both trying to change their standings here, and they're both going about it in different ways. Having an American Pope is one way to do it. I mean, it certainly will generate interest here locally in the United States, even though the United States' standing isn't all that hot right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, meanwhile, you got the ACC.
Oh, I thought we were ready to hockey it up. Sorry.
How are you going to hockey it up?
Well, I feel like if the Hurricanes were not in the playoffs, this would be the bit. But continue. You said something about the ACC.
No, I want to end the bit.
Oh, okay. Remember how the other day I was like, all right. Talked about Tulski being right.
Right.
So I'm watching. All right. So last night, to be fully transparent here, I watched the Florida-Toronto game. I watched the first 2 periods of that game. And at first I was like, geez, man, they really got Brad Marchand. Hurricanes are they're gonna beat Toronto. They're gonna come here, ruin our YouTube numbers. And I'm gonna have to watch the nose face killer score all these goals again and just shut down Sebastian Aho again.
Right.
Damn it. And I even tweeted a picture of Hayden Christensen with I felt a disturbance in the force when Marchand scored, because I'm like, well, that's it. It's over, right? Mm-hmm. But then I started thinking, as I'm watching, because the next person to score for Toronto was Max Domi. And I'm like, wait a second, that's a former Cane.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm looking.
There's a guy bumping around Raleigh with a Max Domi tattoo on his ass.
That's right. And then I'm looking and I'm going, wait a second, that's Max Pacioretty. So it got me thinking, how many former Canes? There were 12 goals scored last night.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler, Mikko Rantanen had another hat trick.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that.
There were 12 goals scored in 2 playoff games last night. 9 of those 12 goals involved a former Cane. 9 of the 12.
9 of them?
9 times.
Well, this is another example where the Carolina Hurricanes have to get their NIL right.
That's right. They keep losing these guys.
You keep losing these guys. They go other places and they get performing, It's like next thing you know, but are they Canes forever? Canes for life?
I mean, Patches would definitely qualify.
Patch would.
Just what, 3 games or 2 games?
I mean, the guy got hurt. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I think he blames the Canes, as someone has pointed out to me.
Oh, that's right.
Pacioretty scored. Domi scored. Rantanen had 3, and Gimme Fuel, Gimme Fire, Gimme Nino Ryder scored the first goal for the Jets last night. So
I love that.
I'm watching these games going, man, it's Canes. Everything's coming up Canes.
I hope everything's coming up Canes in the literal sense, not everything's coming up Canes for the other guy. But then again, if you're a Caniac for life, huge Caniacs, as Trip Tracy would say. So these guys, huge Caniacs.
What I'm also hearing you say is we should probably bet on Trevor Van Riemsdyk to be the first goal scorer tonight. I bet you can get really good odds on that.
Yeah, there's no way. Okay.
So look at that.
I'm gonna look that.
I mean, I'm gonna think about it. Think about these trends. He's the only former Cane that the Capitals have by my quick math here.
Come on, look at my face. Log in. Look at my face phone. All right, here we go. Oh, that's right. I forgot I won on Aho, so I have $67.
Look at that. I would not rack that on Van Riemsdyk.
No,
I would just simmer just a little scratcher.
So actually, what are the? So the Canes are minus 175 tonight.
Tonight they are?
Tonight,
Get
minus
the hell
175.
out of here.
Looking at it right now.
Where is the respect for Washington?
None.
What in the world? Are you serious?
People probably expect the Canes to do the exact thing they did in game 1 and come out with a victory. Maybe not in overtime, but it is what it is.
All right, just in case people don't understand what I'm saying right now. Vegas lost game 1. Okay. Tonight they are favored to win, as most people are when they're at home. Somehow the Canes are favored in game 2 after winning game 1. I'll just say it. Give me Washington tonight at plus 140.
So, all right. What are the odds tonight? Can I even get
first goal scorer?
Of course, goal scorer. But what I'm saying is, can I actually get
Van Riemsdyk.
Van Riemsdyk
You
here.
should be able to because he's
So-
a regular in their lineup. It's
So
not
all
like,
I have right now, first goal scorer. Here we go. View more. Scroll. Where is Van Riemsdyk?
plus
Dang
if he's a Canes for life,
he
he's
is
the
plus 2,800.
boom.
$5 gang, stand up. Let's go. Making the bet as we speak. Done. We'll see what happens. If
All
Van Riemsdyk, Van Riemsdyk scores tonight, I get $150 or something to that effect.
Nice.
I'm excited about that.
Let's say you can go the reverse too and go Orlov, since he would qualify as a random Canes defenseman, but
Yes.
also former Cap.
I'm
So
with you on
you
that.
could probably hedge that one both ways if you
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
So this is from a 919. Remember the convo y'all had when the Canes moved on from Mikko Rantanen and about how he was like Yari Curry? Well, I guess he is.
Did you fake that?
No, that's a real text
Real?
that we got. That's a real
Somebody's
text.
paying attention. That warms my heart.
Yes, that was from a 919 to the sports phone. You've been on this Yari Curry thing, and then sure enough, when I saw the stat, because he had another hat trick last night, there he is with that man, Yari Curry. You were right. He is Yari Curry, literally Yari Curry.
In fairness, I meant it as someone who could only play with another really good player.
I see that.
Yeah, Hall of Famer,
I see
great
that.
scorer.
I
I
see
believe
that.
Eric Curry is also a Finn, but
He is
like, yeah, he's like gone plaid. Rantanen. I mean, his last, even the NHL like tweeted out like, here are the numbers in his last 4 games. They don't even seem real.
yeah.
He's absolutely on fire.
Hit up the sports phone. Keep the sports phone in mind because we'll be doing an after dark after game 2 tonight. As we're live today, it's brought to you by the Butcher's Market. Check them out online, thebutchersmarkets.com. We got Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. Reminder, Mother's Day, Sunday. Don't drop the ball on this one. And the Butcher's Market is going to make it really easy for you to win on Mother's Day. We're talking about already prepared meals that you can throw away all the cartons and everything else that come with it to make it look like you made that meal. Or if you're fancy pants like me and you can actually cook, and like Joe, who can cook, then by all means, get everything you need at the Butcher's Market for Mother's Day. So check them out online, thebutchersmarkets.com. Yeah, we got another sports phone text. This is from, where'd it go? From a 336 number. I know the Canes have been winning, so everything is positive vibes only right now. But what Rantanen is doing is insane. If the Stars make it farther than the Canes, how should we feel? This ties into something that I saw on social media this morning. I opened up Blue Sky, like, all right, what did I miss overnight as I'm sipping my coffee? And I saw some of the Canes people that I follow on Blue Sky, like, I just looked at the box score from last night and I threw up in my mouth. I'm like, let the man live. He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. Not everybody's going to love the Canes, man. Not everybody's going to understand the Triangle is a great place to live, even if they don't have fancy clothing shops. It's okay. It's okay. It was good enough for Sebastiano to sign here and have a family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
I was trying
Let
to
Mikko live, man. Let Mikko live.
I was trying to find an Oiler to take former Kane. And of course, they have Jeff Skinner. And Vegas has Noah Hannafin. So if you parlayed all of those former Canes,
Goodness.
oh man, that's worth $1.
Goodness, there are so many Canes for life. That's a brief hockey break right there. We'll have more of a hockey break for you. Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, is going to join us in a hot minute. We got new team names and, of course, his thoughts on the Canes and the Cavs.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
I was at Happy and Hill yesterday over in North Hills. North Hills, very, very smart to make sure that the deck is open with free 2-hour parking while construction is taking place across the street from Happy and Hill. So it's still easy to get in and get out at North Hills. I went with the classic. I went with the Bueno Bowl with the salad. Keep it light. Can't go wrong with that. The pop-up is still going strong in downtown Raleigh, though. Days like today are perfect days to hang out at the pop-up. $10 for a bowl at the pop-up across from the Publix in downtown Raleigh. I can't find a better deal than that, right?
There's not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So drop on by Happy and Hill. Use the app. Use that promo code OG25 to save 25% off your first order. Speaking of order, the order of business we were originally going to start with before we got on a strange hockey tangent, which I'm totally cool with. It's official. We saw the initial reports from CBS a couple of weeks ago, but it's official. the ACC in basketball will be moving from 20 conference games to 18 conference games. They put the release out yesterday. Here's a quote from Jim Phillips, who I would imagine will have old men in suits with name tags like at St. Joan of Arc in Boca Raton, Florida, with a basket for cash to help raise funds for the ACC like the Catholic Church usually does. As a league, we have been transparent about the importance of ACC men's basketball and specifically our commitment to ensuring it is best positioned for the future. Then why did you add SMU, Cal, and Stanford? I'm editorializing. Moving to an 18-game conference schedule is a direct result of our ongoing strategic review and analysis and provides our schools a better balance of non-conference and conference games while also allowing them more autonomy in the scheduling process. This decision reflects our ongoing prioritization to do what's best for ACC men's basketball, like adding Cal, Stanford, and SMU to add to the bottom dregs of the league and also diverting so much money to football that you can't afford coaches. But I'm editorializing.
It's not that bad, and Stanford wasn't that bad.
They're that bad. I'm sorry. So the primary part. So now what's going to happen is you're going to have your primary partner, and then you're going to have a variable partner. The variable partner
can be variable.
It can be variable.
Yeah.
I like that. I get it. It's a variable, but situationship was sitting right there.
I got you.
Hit me up. Or, hey, big head. Like all that stuff was there for the ACC to call those other, the variable partners along with the primary partner. So shockingly, Duke and Carolina would be your primary partners. And like we called it a couple of weeks ago when the reports initially came out, State and Wake Forest will be partners. That's not to say that State and Carolina won't play twice a year. It could happen 1 year. It could happen 2 years, but it's not going to happen every year. And of course, we had to make this happen for Louisville and SMU to be primary partners. Like, it's funny. I can see in the meeting rooms right now as they were going through all this stuff. We're like, well, yeah, Virginia Tech, Pitt and Syracuse. Yeah, Boston College, Notre Dame. I'm sure the Pope will come to see that one, right? Clemson, Georgia Tech. Yeah, that makes sense. Cal, Stanford, they're neighbors. Why not, right? Like-minded, Florida State, Miami. Damn. What do we have? Shit. Louisville and SMU. Hey, Louisville.
Who's left?
Who we got?
Yeah.
You two. All right, you two get together, right? No, throw out the record books. Louisville, Kentucky, old. That's not the heated rivalry. It's Louisville, SMU. Two schools with a lot of people with money. And maybe that's how they do it. Just put your cash on the table. Who's got stacks on stacks on stacks? Maybe that's how you win that game.
The real rivalry.
Yes. But anyway, it's official. It's fine. I'll stand by what I said a couple of weeks ago when this initially came out. I get the thought process behind this. The idea being that allowing yourself to use those 2 extra games to go and schedule however you see fit could benefit teams in the long run. This didn't bother Duke, by the way, playing these ACC schools. They managed to still be a top seed, and they got to the Final Four. North Carolina is another example of this, too. The reason why they were on the bubble the entire time and they found themselves in a wild stretch where winning didn't really do anything and losing would sink them was because they didn't win the very strong non-conference slate that they had put together. They were close, but close isn't going to get you anything in the eyes of the committee. You got to win those games. And that's ultimately what this comes down to. You cannot math your way out of this. You have to win. And the only way to win in this day and age is to have money. So pass the collection plate around once again, folks. Call it a mission. Where's the ACC tournament next year? Sure. Or no, where's the Final Four next year?
Oh. You're trusting me too much.
Indianapolis. Is it Indy? Okay,
so.
That's actually a trip we can make.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what it is.
There,
so maybe that's what Jim Phillips needs to do at Operation Basketball in Charlotte this upcoming year. Pass the collection plate around to send our teams, send our missions to Indianapolis so that we can be part of the NCAA tournament. That's what this is about. You got to up your coaching game, and then you got to follow suit with the winning. You don't believe me how money is changing everything?
Oh, I was going to say.
Did you see this from the internet today?
You got a great local example here.
Holy crap, man. We've lived long enough to see this. So this was in the News and Observer today. Let me see if I can pull this up because I thought I had it, but I don't. We're doing this live, folks.
Yeah, it's from Luke from the Centennial Authority meeting.
Here we go. The headline, NC State asks to divert Lenovo Center Improvement Fund to support basketball. The quote that I thought was interesting, this is from NC State Athletics Chief of Staff Michelle Lee, saying that there's been diminishing returns on capital improvements. considering NC State only plays games at Lenovo Center while practicing on campus, while the basketball program under new coach Will Wade needs the money now. Quote, I would go to men's basketball specifically and the operation and the running of that program, not anywhere else on campus, not football, but specifically to support and enhance what we are currently doing. We would not be using it for capital expenses for men's basketball. If this request is granted, it would be for the operational needs to support the basketball program, aka money for players. Good for NC State. Good for NC State because they see it. We saw this at Clemson, by the way, a couple years ago as we shifted to NIL. I think it was at Rutgers too. What Greg Schiano even said, I don't need money for facilities. I need money for dudes. So good on NC State to understand that with Will Wade. Maybe that was the reckoning that was on the way.
The reckoning.
Yes, the reckoning is here. The reckoning is here for sure. Anyway, that's where we're at right now with the ACC. Meanwhile, again, everything is about money. I saw a report in The Athletic that the ESPN is ready to pay the SEC for 9 conference games because that's where
ESPN
their money is.
Okay.
ESPN wants more SEC games
because
that's what people want to watch. They would throw them anywhere. I think the report was anywhere between 60 to $80 million additional for the SEC to do this. Yes.
Okay.
So money rules everything, man. Cream.
And you know what? I hope it means the end of those stupid rivalry games too.
What stupid?
Because if NC State can't have rivalry games, then no one should have rivalry games. No, you remember during the pandemic and everyone was like, oh my God, if South Carolina and Clemson don't play football, the world's going to fall off its axis.
Yeah.
It's like,
or don't get me.
It'll be okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is the end of the world. Life will move on.
No, I know. I think.
But this is yet another example of you wonder why investment in the product isn't where it once was. You're not doing things with these scheduling arrangements that benefit fans or give fans a reason to care about you anymore. The game, it's like the old, it's like the old Mark Jackson. You know, what happened to the game I love, right? Well, there's an element of that when it comes to the ACC, specifically in hoops. What happened to the game that I love? It ain't there anymore.
Well, you know that this goes back to the original expansion. This goes back to the end of the round robin. This goes all the way back to all those things. So this is just another in the latest of steps and dominoes to fall where your point is correct. The ACC has diminished fan interest for the sake of getting a few more dollars.
From Ben, who can't find a username. So are you dating? Nah, she's my variable partner.
I mean, has a ring to it.
NC State and Carolina.
Or doesn't.
NC State and Carolina are now, hey man, I'm going to be in your city. What are you up to?
Hey.
Hey, you free that weekend?
You want to run it back?
I could see Boo and Bubba texting right now. Hey, Big Ed.
Housekeeping.
It's brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com. Green cleaning solution.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
Enovana, they're going to be at the house next week. It's every 2 weeks, folks. It's every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, okay?
They've got to have time for everybody else.
We have we got an After Dark tonight that's brought to you by our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. We appreciate them jumping on board to sponsor our After Darks. So when corporate champions support us, you go support them. So hit up Bloomin' Blinds today, 919-980-9815. Local. I see Chris at the rink all the time. You need blinds repair. You're looking for true blackout situations. He got you.
Also, a lot of people right now are either preparing to move or have moved in, or you're going to be moved in by the end of the summer for next school year. So trust me, as someone who spent like an inordinate amount of time trying to put up blinds on 28 windows, and I was ready to murder someone at the end of it. I mean, or at least jump out the top floor window. I mean, don't do that to yourself. Get yourself hooked up with our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. Give them a call, 919-980-9815. Your font's a little funky there.
Yeah, 9815. Well, that's the font that we use for most of our cursive stuff. Big thanks to Roback. Use that promo code OG20, RHOBACK.com is the website. OG20 is the promo code. Let's go. Look, you can take it from us, right? We have said straight up, they're incredibly comfortable polos. What did I do yesterday, Joe?
I was just about to tell the people I didn't even get a comp for you yesterday. I used James Giglio's email.
Mm-hmm.
That's I texted him and said, hey, don't like report like something to as void or whatever.
It's not a phishing scheme.
It's not. It's just real. I
Yeah.
used your email. So you find yourself an email
Mhm.
and you can use that promo code more than once.
Yeah.
OG20, your son, your wife, your mom, your dad, someone else has the promo code, has an email. That's all you got to do.
That's all you need.
Hey, you can still use your credit card.
But
We
you're
did.
like, you don't want it. Like, no, actually, no. I'll take
you
another
surprised
polo.
me. You surprised me.
I got the AV card.
That was a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing the City of Oaks one to a rehearsal dinner tomorrow night. I'm very excited about this. It's casual. Can't think of a better polo to wear for something like that. But don't
Perfect.
take it from me. Don't take it from
Yes.
Joe, who goes to sleep in his rowback.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
This is from a 267.
Guys, you undersold the Rowback NC State polo. I got both the Tuffy head and the one with all the different little symbols. They're fucking phenomenal. They fit great. They feel great. They're stretchy. But the look, it's just awesome. I love it. Thanks, guys.
Curse or don't.
Or don't. And also go to Rowback. Use our promo code. Save yourself some money. I do owe Ben an apology, though.
Why?
I did not realize he actually did put together a fairly fantastic Carolina alternate polo, if you will.
Mhm.
I thought it was only the interlocking NC. So in fairness of promoting, because I told you, I'm like, Dan, the state one is better, but look at that.
Oh, that's great.
sucker.
Oh, you hadn't seen that one yet?
I had not. I
Oh,
thought
so
he
it was
only
it was in
had
the email.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. In the
I
email.
thought he only had that. I see the Smith Center there. I see
It's not the well.
I see the well. I see the Bosch.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
It's all good
Is
stuff.
there? Oh, there's the bell.
Mhm.
All right. Look, man. Ben's that probably says Franklin Street on it. Our guy, he's there for you. He's there for the people, not just us wolves.
From Blind Lemon Jello, I actually had somebody compliment my Rowback March Madness with the TV on it.
That's
Had
the
no
AV
idea.
card.
That's the AV card.
That's the AV card. Yeah. Here's the thing, and I tell this to them all the time. And thank you for the call, by the way. Once you wear it, you're like, oh, hold on now, hold up.
Wait,
I did not know clothes could be that comfortable.
Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. It's about that time of the year, folks. It's warming up. Mosquitoes are going to start getting active, but you still want to enjoy the outside of your house. Mosquito Authority can help you out with that. So check out bugsbite.com. I'm going to take credit for every Mosquito Authority sign that I see in a yard.
You should.
Podcast listeners, big fans of the OG. And of course, you can bundle and save with Pest Authority. Mosquitoes are active, but guess what? You're getting bugs coming in, looking for moisture. Roaches are active. Take care of all that stuff with bugsbite.com. And Mother's Day is coming up. You know what mom's going to love? The drink selections at Longleaf Swine. They got specials all the time. They got a full bar, great bourbon. I think they've got some slushies now, too.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being absolutely serious right now. So,
going to the Swine today. I did not realize that there were slushies.
pretty
involved.
sure they
I'm trying
busted
to be
out.
on my best
Pretty
behavior.
sure they broke out a slushie. So it's all at Longleaf Swine. Check it out, longleafswine.com. The brunch is phenomenal at Longleaf Swine, as Giglio's clearly having a moment. As we wait for, we're going to talk a little bit about North Carolina baseball here in a second. There's a museum in Wilson. Was that happening today or not?
Yeah, that is happening. I was like, you confused me.
Did you not email Brent?
I did. But
Oh, okay.
I
I'm just double checking.
I thought you were talking about the controversy of the ejections from their game with Virginia Tech. They made it to John Boy again for the second time this year.
Who? What? Oh,
Carolina and Virginia Tech had a kerfluffle,
did they?
and they got the John Boy breakdown. So
Sorry, the only thing that I've been seeing from Virginia Tech is the fact that Metallica played Lane Stadium, right?
yes, they did.
And-
was there ever anything built more for that than that's pretty cool. I mean, come on.
Oh, what? Doing the Enter Sandman there?
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a debate as to whether or not Metallica would do Enter Sandman at Lane Stadium. Like, are you
Stop.
serious right now? Of course you're going to do that. Of course you're going to do
Only
that.
reason you pay him to be there.
I mean, come on now. So that's why you do that. But folks, before we talk a little baseball museum,
I cannot imagine having the opportunity 5 days a week to watch what is happening with Bill Belichick.
Part of the fascination I have with the Bill Belichick story is in that you and I were well ahead of a lot of the conversation.
I heard this. I sent it to you, and I was like, now where have I heard this before?
So Julian Edelman, who we've played a couple of times on this podcast, him and Gronk the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, they were like, whatever. Like they were just kind of laughing it up or whatever. That was a couple of weeks ago. A lot has changed since the last time Edelman talked about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. So he was on with Colin Cowherd, and I thought this was kind of funny. And yes, listeners of this program who love the Today in Belichick segment, stop me if you've heard this one before.
Patriot Nation, if you were on a text chain, would it be concerned? Would it be he's okay? Because it's like a thing now.
The number one thing we used to talk about all the time in New England was distractions. The game's already as hard as it is to prepare for, to play, to coach. Now that it's gained and snowballed to what it's become right now, where we're talking about it 3 weeks later, it's becoming a distraction. Got to practice what we preach here. We got to start worrying about, the ACC. We got to start worrying about Dabo Sweeney. We shouldn't be talking about our girlfriend. That's how coach would say to us. When it comes down to running a football organization and playing football, let's make the main thing the main thing.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Distractions?
What? Get out. Get out. Haven't heard that before.
Ovies, Giglio, what do you know about Belichick? You two are just haters.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, Brent Walston, a man that I've only ever interacted with on Twitter. So this is kind of weird for me that I'm putting like a face to the person on Twitter. Hi, Brent. How are you?
Hey, Joe. How you doing today?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for coming on. This is something that I was not aware of, but I'm glad that I now know about. Out in Wilson, there's a North Carolina baseball museum. How old is this baseball museum, and how are you trying to get people to kind of get involved with this baseball museum?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it, and thanks for asking, Joe. The North Carolina Baseball Museum has been around in historic Fleming Stadium in Wilson, North Carolina. We're at 300 Stadium Street. It's been around since 2004. We broke ground in 2002. We're down the third baseline of Fleming Stadium. And at the time of our opening, we billed ourselves as the only state baseball museum dedicated to the sport in the country. Mm-hmm. We're part of the baseball passport program where you can go around to different sites. So we have folks that do wind up here from Louisiana and New York and Colorado because they see that the North Carolina Baseball Museum is around. But we have memorabilia for our 450 North Carolina natives who have made the major leagues. And North Carolina has 7 North Carolina natives who are enshrined in Cooperstown. Gaylord Perry, Catfish Hunter, Roxborough's Enos Slaughter, and Rocky Mountain's Buck Leonard. Their displays are right behind me now. I'm standing in the museum as we're doing this. So that's kind of a brief, but we have memorabilia of colleges in North Carolina that tributes to the Negro Leagues, women in baseball, minor leagues as well. Obviously, you guys know North Carolina has a vibrant minor league baseball history.
Mm-hmm. Brent, you guys have 2 main events that help raise money for the museum. One of them is a golf tournament that's coming up on May 14th.
Which for some reason you want me playing in? Do I have that right?
Well, before I spoil that, I just wanted to give him a chance to promote it.
I'll be there. You can see the 13 wood. Who doesn't want to see the 13
Is that the real hook? Okay.
Who doesn't want to see the 13 wood?
Hey, Joe, the foot wedge is the best golf club that I have that I walk around with. So Ovies, I have you and I playing back to back. So you'll be the comic relief in one group. I'll be the comic relief in the other group.
I love it.
But hey, Giglio, this is our 23rd annual North Carolina Baseball Museum Celebrity golf tournament. And you're right, we do have 2 major fundraisers for the museum. The golf tournament every May, and we have a hot stove league banquet every November. And this upcoming year will be our 50th Hot Stove League banquet. So we've done that event since 1976. Stan Musial was our first guest speaker. Last November at our 49th, our guest speakers, some guys that you guys might recognize: Elliot Avent, Cliff Godwin from ECU, Mike Fox, formerly of UNC, and Keith Gorman from Barton College, our local collegiate team here in Wilson. But the golf tournament next week, this will be our 23rd celebrity golf tournament, and we've had Cy Young winners participate. Mike Caldwell is a friend of the museum, former major leaguer with the Brewers and other teams, and NC State great Phil Ford, members of the 1966 state baseball team that made it to Omaha, Bob Harris, who's just recently passed away, Woody Durham, Gary Hahn, local sports media guys, Chuck Caton. We've got Matt Chazanel, who's playing this year in the event, as well as you guys. So we're very fortunate, pleased that you guys can join us next Wednesday.
Looking forward to it.
And are there still groups available?
There are. We're coming up kind of short, but we do have some spaces available. Folks can reach out to the North Carolina Baseball Museum.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You got to get in there, man.
Go do it. Check it out. Maybe next year. Actually, you know who is less likely to pick up a golf club than me? Would be our friend Tony Rigsby. I don't think I've ever seen.
Well, Tony's at the hot stove for sure.
Yeah, Tony's always there. He's the PA voice for the Durham Bulls. I don't think I've ever seen Tony pick up a golf club, and that would be pretty funny if we could make that happen one of these days.
Tony is a friend of the museum, guys.
Oh, I know he
absolutely.
is. I know. Look, for those who aren't aware of this, Tony and I used to work together back in the day at 850 The Buzz. You can still hear him on the radio from time to time, but where you will know him is he's the PA voice of the Durham Bulls. He's an incredibly nice man. But I never met somebody in my life that would purposely take vacation for hot stove. He's just like, I'm gone, can't be reached. I am deep into the hot stove. I was like, salute, man. Love what you love. Love what you love. I love that about Tony Rigsby. All right, well, Brett, looking forward to participating in the event. You and I will definitely add some comic relief to the golf course. I'll have my 13 wood, and people can find out more about the baseball museum.
This email, Brent, is the best one: ncbaseballmuseum@myglnc.com.
That's myglnc. mygreenlightnc.com, but NC Baseball Museum at myglnc.com.
Perfect.
That works. Brent, we appreciate the time as always. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. See you next Wednesday. Appreciate the time.
Take it easy. So there used to be, I don't think the Levitard show does this anymore with Stugotz, but what they would do during the thick of just slow news days and everybody was getting ready for OTAs and whatnot in the NFL, they would play the stinger from a current affair.
Okay.
So like Stugotz, Dan Levitard's in the middle of discussing something, who knows what, and all of a sudden you'd hear the current affair come through, and then Dan's like, what? And then Stugotz would read basically like what I would read right now. The Carolina Panthers are going to release Jadeveon Clowney. We have techno music. We're not going to do a current affair. But yeah, that's actually a real headline. Panthers are going to release Jadeveon Clowney. According to multiple reports, I'm just reading from Pro Football Talk here. Number 1 overall pick in the 2014 draft, signed a 2-year deal with the Panthers last offseason. He recorded 5.5 sacks with 9 tackles for a loss, 11 quarterback hits in 14 games for the club in 2024. By releasing Clowney, the Panthers will save $7.8 million against the cap in 2025.
Clowney.
Yeah,
the other Panthers news is the one that's kind of got me tripped up.
Again, for Pro Football Talk, Jonathan Brooks will not play in 2025. He was placed on the PUP list. He had 9 carries for 22 yards, 3 receptions for 23 yards in the 3 games that he played last year. He was taken in the 2nd round by the Carolina Panthers, already hurt. There was a big wind up and lead up to when he was finally going to play, only to find out He is hurt again. This is easy to just retroactively say, maybe you shouldn't have drafted the hurt running back. And this is coming to fruition.
Yeah, I know it's not cool in 2025 to pick on the Panthers for bad draft day moves or bad trades. But it wasn't just that they took him in the second round. They traded a second and a fifth round pick that they had acquired for Christian McCaffrey to move up in the draft to take an injured running back.
Yeah.
Who now is the entirety of his career is basically going to be 3 games, 9 carries, 20 yards. You can't waste assets like that. I know they did a better job last year in the draft. I think they hit on Leggett and Trevin Wallace, but and we'll see if running back is an expendable position. That's why you see them drafted so frequently and so much later in each round. But that was a mistake by them, and hopefully ETN's brother can help them atone for it.
Should I just rip off the current affair thing or continue with the techno noises? Yeah, let's go Techno Bowl. The Panthers to cut tight ends Jordan Matthews and Colin Granger.
Oh, that'll be huge.
What does that mean? Mike K reporting these releases, along with Joe Person of The Athletic, moves up 2 roster spots on the 90-man roster. Any more deep thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. Got another one. Panthers waive center Andrew Rame, Dax Milne. They had a wide receiver named Dax Milne. Didn't know that. It's news to me.
Somebody they AI generated name from NCAA football.
That's got to be.
They pulled up on the Ready Baked roster.
Yeah, he didn't appear in any games. Did play 28 games for Washington.
Sim roster.
That has to be. That has to be. Although you're a sucker for this stuff, man. Even before we got started today, you were reading some tweet about the backup center from Western Michigan really has an opportunity here.
Yeah,
what team were we talking about?
This is an amazing tweet from Barry Jackson, who is the king of minutia down in Florida.
Down in Miami. Yeah.
Of the 16 undrafted rookies signed by Miami, a handful have a real chance to make the roster. Long dash, long snapper, Nealon Hibbett. 1 or 2 of the 4 wide receivers, a tight end, a corner, and maybe Western Michigan center or running back Noel, and maybe safety Saunders. Maybe. A lot of maybes in there.
Let's just do a lot of hedge in there. A lot of hedge.
How many undrafted players do you want on your team?
Big thanks to Keller Williams. Check them out, Keller Williams Commercial, the Donnelly team. Maybe you need commercial real estate space. You need warehouse space for all of the players you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Stash them away for your 90-man roster. You never know where you're going to need them. Now, in all seriousness, you have specific needs for what you need as a business. Could it be more space? Warehouse space? Of course. Do you need retail space in a unique location? TriangleNCCommercial.com can help you out. 919-616-8681. The Donnelly team at Keller Williams Commercial is going to help you out. We understand that real estate is a very, very specific need, but Brian and Julie are fantastic at this. So hit them up. TriangleNCCommercial.com. Also, our friends at Breeze Through, corporate champion. They are also your number one spot for all the action at Lenovo Center over the next 5 days. Comedy shows, Pearl Jam shows, hockey playoffs.
I could break a little news here on the OG. OG Light in cans, scheduled to be available at the Breeze Through on May 20th.
Let's go.
That is the target date for the OG Light cans.
Yes.
The end cap with your face and my face from our friend Glenn at Color Graphic. There's a meeting today to discuss.
I cannot wait.
Adam said, well, do you want it in the beer cave itself? Or do you want it like when you walk in the store?
When you walk in the
center?
store.
And I was like, well, I think you already know the answer.
Yeah, it's got to be front and center when you walk in the store. So that is where the cans will be available. We're working on some other distribution options, but we will have cans of OG Light. I got freaking Paul here questioning my my editing skills. Where did it go? There we go. Paul, good Lord, is that Jordan picture in 180p? Yeah, look, man,
what?
For some reason it didn't scale. I don't know why it didn't scale. I really don't. But that same aesthetic, you're like, man, what's going on here? You'll see it on the can. Okay. The Temu of sports talk shows in the Triangle will have such a thing. But the beer, it doesn't matter what the can looks like. Is the beer good?
Delicious.
Joe? Okay, then. So yeah, Cans of OG Light will be available very, very soon. Speaking of things that will bear our names on it, we are going to have, finally, a Two Roosters flavor. And, of course, the OG Sports Phone had some opinions.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
All right, this is from a 919.
Hello, OG, courtesy driver. A suggestion for the official OG Two Roosters ice cream flavor. How about the OG bourbon salty caramel? Have a good night now.
It's got potential.
So Curtis hit on something that I had seen a lot of reference to.
Salty?
Salty. Everybody's been saying, well, for you two, it's got to be somewhat salty. And I'm like, at first I was like, what? Okay, fine. You're right. So this is what I would suggest, because I know this is your Super Bowl.
It is.
Because actually, I saw Tyler over at Happy and Hill yesterday. Talked to him for a little bit.
Yep.
And he mentioned the thing. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is, you know how Joe gets. I mean, we just talked about your very particular taste of hydration.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your Super Bowl when it comes to coming up with a flavor. You know I love peanut butter.
Yes.
There's a way to incorporate.
As do I.
There is a way to incorporate saltiness if you include those peanut butter filled pretzels.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the way to go about it.
It's on the list.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
either those or work with me.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Reese's peanut butter cups that are filled with Reese's Pieces?
Ooh.
In the peanut butter ice cream with the peanut butter ripple.
Ooh.
Because that gets us chocolate, peanut butter, and deliciousness.
That, not gonna lie, that sounds sexy.
Okay.
Might be down for that.
I am down for that.
Okay. Okay.
Because remember, we need to be on the Mount Rushmore. Our flavor needs to be on the Mount Rushmore.
I've thought about ways, and maybe we can do another run of this in the future where I've tried to like incorporate our heritages, right?
Sure.
Like I've thought about like a dulce de leche cannoli flavor or some sort of Cuban coffee espresso, something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the bourbon and the caramel had some legs. I'm not going to lie.
All right, no, that's fair.
But
that's fair.
I want the youths to be like, Mom,
greatest
take me to
flavor
Two
ever.
Roosters because Mount Rushmore.
Well, you know, to your point, as James pointed out on the YouTube, OG
That's a
Light,
great
taste the
tagline.
triangle good.
That is a great tagline.
James, if you're cool with it, we might steal that for the official the OG Light shirt that I'm cooking up.
Yes.
So that might just be the way we go about it. So if you're cool with us stealing that, by all means, James, we will send you free shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get you a 6-pack of OG Light
That's
as
really
well if you
good.
want, because that's really, really freaking
really
good. But we do want the Two Roosters flavor to be better than Triangle Good, right?
No, we're going for excellence here.
Yeah. So there's levels to this. So we absolutely want this to be better than Triangle Good. But the beer, it's beer flavored beer, so you know it's Triangle Good. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is the man with the hottest takes, the boldest takes. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. I want to focus on the two that didn't, Greg. Greg Wyshynski, ESPN. You said Utah would be the Yeti. They're not the Yeti. And you said the Canes would not make the playoffs. And look at them now in round 2, up 1-0 on the Washington Capitals.
I mean, I assume there's still wiggle room for there to be some technicality surrounding the Rantanen trade that we don't know about that will disqualify Carolina at some point. You know, it's a wacky trade. Anything can happen. Let me start with Utah because that's fresh on my mind because I wrote a big story on it when they released the name and logo, and the logo was reminiscent, I think, of the Minnesota Wild a little bit in the Easter eggs in there. You know, the Wild have sort of the lakes and wilderness scenes, and Utah's got the mountain range as sort of the top of the head of the mammoth. I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool logo. I think it's well designed. It's memorable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the name. I think the name compared to some of the other options is pretty good. I was a Yeti guy, but obviously that was fraught with trademark problems. My question, as always, and maybe Utah fans will answer this very, very shortly, is what do we chant? Do we chant Mammoths? I'm a New York Mets fan. We are technically the Metropolitans.
Mm-hmm.
Shorten it to Mets. Are we going to shorten it to Mams?
The Mams.
I don't know, man.
Moths.
It's possible, right?
Probably. Yeah, who knows?
Now,
Or
one of the things
Chelsea
that
Cup? I don't know.
one of the things I was intrigued by is I asked the team, is there going to be a cuddly mammoth mascot at home games this season? And they confirmed that there will be a mascot at the home games, but they would not confirm cuddly, which, I mean, what are we talking about? I always assume like, Ray Romano Ice Age. Oh, look at we're playing hockey. But apparently, like
Barkley or Ray Romano.
as Puck Soup listeners know, I only do like 9 impressions. I just like utilize them in different spaces. But like they're not committing to it being cute. So I don't know if we're gonna end up with like the mascot Edmonton has that scares kids or what. But there's gonna be a mascot roaming around Delta Center this season.
Just rip off Gritty and put some horns on it, man. We're good.
See, that's exactly what my wife Ruby said. She said,
Okay.
Gritty has sort of changed the game for mascots in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible that like, it's going to be a mammoth, but it's going to look like a Picasso painting. It's just going to be like an abstract, scary version of a mammoth in order for them to get the SEO and social cachet that the Flyers got when they introduced Gritty.
Nothing's going to top the Pelicans King Baby. That's scare kids. So they have a tough task if they want to scare kids. Just like the Carolina Hurricanes are scaring the media, Greg, scaring them out here up 1-0 going into tonight's game against the Capitals. I said this on yesterday's show, and I believe it going into tonight. I think we're just going to get a repeat of game 1. I think we're going to get a repeat of game 1 throughout this entire series. The Canes are going to pepper you with shots. Capitals are going to block a bunch of them. The Capitals are going to be very judicious with their shots. 2-1, 1-1, 2-2, that kind of thing. Am I off base with that?
So you're saying the Carolina Hurricanes might play a playoff series in which the result is a series of 1-goal games?
Crazy.
I've never seen this before. Surely they must have several Stanley Cups by this point.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I did think the best thing that happened for Carolina outside of the victory in game 1 was a lot of kind of crisis of faith, come to hockey Jesus moments that the Capitals were having in their post-game comments. I mean, like, they tried to portray it as, we didn't play our game, nothing good we did. We didn't do anything good in the game outside of Logan Thompson playing well. And, I think Dylan Strome said we allowed them to dictate terms. But, this was a tone and tenor we never heard from the Capitals, maybe this season at all. And so the Hurricanes have always had the unique ability of making you question what it is you do because of their ability to control play. And, when that then results in a victory, then it becomes a real kind of like crisis of faith for the team they're playing. And I think the Capitals are already there.
That starts with that top line. I mean, I rarely remember a game where Ovechkin and Wilson had such little impact. I mean, you got to figure we see just a smidge more out of them tonight, right?
You'd assume. I mean, Ovechkin had 1 shot in the game, which is his lowest total of the playoffs so far. The most intriguing matchup in this series for me was the penalty kill versus the power play for Carolina and Washington, because Washington, not only this season, but traditionally over the last 3 seasons, has been one of the teams to crack the code against the penalty kill. Like I think they were maybe 5th in power play efficiency over the last 3 seasons. They scored, I think, 4 times against Carolina in the regular season, which is pretty good against that PK. So for that not to have been a factor in game 1, I mean, speaks directly to Ovechkin's ineffectiveness in game 1. And, we'll see if that holds. But so far, the Hurricanes' bread and butter has continued to be, the best thing about them in these games.
It's been a minute since we've talked to you, but national view on Jacob Slavin. He seems to be getting more and more attention, starting with the 4 Nations and now obviously with this goal, the game winner in game 1. Just where were you on Jacob Slavin and has anything he's done in the last 3 months kind of changed your opinion on him?
He also had that goal in the Jersey series too. That was a backbreaker in game 4, like the
play to set up and then the goal itself.
The goal itself. Because he was in on the forecheck on that too, which is just wild when you think about defensive defenseman Jacob Slavin, and now he's if he's forechecking too, then we'll never win against Carolina. Then now there's offensive forechecking. I wrote the Conn Smythe Watch earlier this week, where we get the ballots from potential voters as to who they think the MVP is going to be. Slavin didn't make any of the ballots, but I did put him in the category of being on the cusp. And so when you think about players that potentially win playoff MVP, defensemen don't always win it, but when they do, it's somebody who, makes an offensive impact in key moments, plays a ton of minutes, and usually also has the reputation of being like a number one guy on the team. And so, Slavin now has an overtime game winner on his resume. He plays a lot. He's the linchpin of the best penalty kill in the playoffs, which I think is something that could, really be a plank in his platform if we're talking about, playoff MVP type stuff. And then on top of that, as you mentioned, now he's got all that Four Nations shine where there are people who maybe forgot about how dominant he is that saw him in that tournament, a best on best tournament, play as well as he did. And they're like, oh my God, Jacob Slavin, I forgot this guy is the best at what he does. So if the Carolina Hurricanes win the cup and he has decent offensive numbers and he has the time on ice that he currently has, I mean, there's a chance that he could win the Conn Smythe.
Well, think about the run he'd have to go through too. Ovechkin, and then whoever emerges next round. I'm rooting for Toronto, by the way. And then in the finals, if it could be another Connor McDavid, my gosh.
Listen, it ain't going to be you guys.
My gosh.
If the Carolina Hurricanes make the final, okay, the hockey gods are not going to put Connor McDavid in the final. They're going to obviously put Mikko Rantanen in the final. Like, what are we even talking about?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, you're right. No,
Why are we even having conversations about Vegas?
We're gonna get a tail of the tape. Logan Stankoven and playoffs per dollar or goals per dollar. Mikko Rantanen goals per dollar, and then they're gonna face. And it's interesting. Look, man, there was so much digital ink spilled and so much time talking about why it worked, why it didn't work, how they ended up here, and things like that. What I guess where I think people ended up having such a big problem with the conversation around Mikko Rantanen was, so it didn't work. It's not the first time something hasn't worked. Why do the Canes have to shut the franchise down, right? Like, and there's also a lesson here in that, and maybe this is a lesson for Tom Dundon. I don't know. Maybe it is. I hope it is. Sometimes you got to go out and get guys who want to be here. They might not be that superstar and you're breaking the bank for them. You got to get guys who want to be here. And the Canes under Rod Brind'Amour succeed when you have guys who want to be here. I don't know why this is complicated.
The two interesting things about the Rantanen trade in hindsight right now, not knowing like what he ends up doing in the second round for Dallas. The first is, and I think Hurricanes fans will appreciate this, all of the Colorado fans that are like wringing their hands about Martin Necas disappearing for a couple of games. I'm like, boys and girls.
Yeah, a lot of Canes are going, oh, look at that. Regular season Necas and then postseason Necas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, welcome to the circus, folks.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, if the Hurricanes do what the Hurricanes have done, which is to play a conference final where they are left wanting for a goal in a key spot. And, they tried it with Gensel and then they went with Rantanen and obviously didn't get a postseason game out of him.
Yeah.
It does beg the question for both Colorado and Carolina, would it have behooved them to hold on to this guy and then have him walk for free? In Colorado's case, I think it's a very interesting question because if they kept him, they probably couldn't do all the stuff they did at the trade deadline with Coyle and Brock Nelson and Lindgren, which didn't ultimately help them. But they'd still have Mikko Rantanen, and Mikko Rantanen, more importantly, wouldn't have been on Dallas.
Yeah.
And in Carolina's case, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out if they end up in the same spots they've been in, and would it have been? I mean, you wouldn't have ended up with Logan Stankoven,
right? I'm of the galaxy brain that the Canes don't make the conference finals without an inflection point that puts a chip on their shoulder. In the most predictable fashion, after the Mikko Rantanen trade, they went on a run. Shocked. This is my shocked face. That's classic Canes.
It is classic Canes. They probably. I mean, listen, if the Devils are still in the Utica Comets on their blue line, they probably get through New Jersey. But
wow. All right. Before we say goodbye, Freddie Anderson signed a 1-year extension with the Carolina Hurricanes. This, of course, has caused some consternation here locally. Because we've seen enough of Freddie Anderson. We've seen enough of Peter Kochetkov. And there's this like, well, go get this guy. Well, why don't they make a trade for this guy? Is the goalie market as screwed up as we kind of talk about it out there, and why it kind of makes sense for the Canes to kind of kick the can down the road one more year with Freddie Anderson?
The goalie market, I mean, you got to take a chance on guys and hope they work out in most cases.
Okay.
Now, even like Darcy Kemper for the Kings, they bought low on him because he was just okay for Washington. He got outplayed by Charlie Lindgren, and basically they took him on because they wanted to get rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois' contract. But then he ends up being a Vezina finalist. I think Mackenzie Blackwood for Colorado, like they acquired him from the Sharks just to solidify what had been a mess of a crease for them, and then he ends up playing so well they extend him. So there, I don't think there is a solution that the Carolina Hurricanes could acquire that is like sure thing, better than Freddie. You know, we got this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if at best you're going to be hoping that the goalie that you acquire when you put him into the system in which they play can thrive and maybe give you whatever it is that you're lacking with Freddie. And for me, what you're lacking with Freddie is stability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he's in there, he's quite good. You know, like he's the foundation on which they build a lot of things in the playoffs. So I don't know, man. Like ultimately, I think that they're dangling their hook in the water to try to get that goal scorer is more prescient for trying to win the Stanley Cup than worrying about their goaltending.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN. We appreciate the time as always, and in equal time, your bold predictions. Some of them you did get right, like Ovechkin.
Yeah, Ovechkin breaking the record, Seth Jones being traded. It's a number of them that I definitely got right, and then some I got hugely wrong.
It's okay. It's okay. They're bold predictions for a reason.
For a reason. And it heartened me to see Carolina fans pushing back on their own when they said, you know, how does this guy have a job at ESPN? And like a Carolina fan will go, well, they're bold predictions. Stupid. Yeah, like, you know, it's not a, you know, if he was going to make a prediction, he would be like Sebastian Aho scores a goal. Like, there you go. I would get that right. But they're bold predictions. You have to
bold prediction could have been Chikrin will have more goals this year than Svechnikov, and you would have been right.
How about that? All right, Greg, we'll talk to you later, man. Thanks.
Anytime.
Good old hating ass Greg Wyshynski. I always love talking to Greg. Known him for a long time. Always good stuff. One of the comments we got here from Bertram. Randon didn't want to play Finnish Cottage Simulator. That should have been found out in the pre-trade. You're right. Like if you asked Sebastian Aho, it's like, hey, I know you've been playing Finnish Cottage Simulator. Is Randon on that with you? No? Forget it. He's not going to be a fit here. What'll be a fit for you is Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out. WH.lawyer. You're looking for somebody that can handle your legal needs, large, small, personal. They've got that for you with offices all across North Carolina. Of course, based in the G. Shout out to Shady's as well, the home of our OG birthday bash a couple of weeks ago. Thanks to everybody who came out. So check out WH.lawyer. Again, that's WH.lawyer. They can even do simple things for you like closing out your refi. Or you bought a house, right? And it's time to take that thing to close. Speaking of financing that, our friends at Miller Lending can do that for you. Finance that house, refinance that house. Use your biggest asset to consolidate debt with refinancing. Like Joe did this week.
Big week.
Good?
Very big week.
Got that cash infusion?
We're working on it.
Okay, you're still working on it. Fair enough. But here's the thing about Miller Lending. They're local. Joe's talking about working on it. And this has been my experience with Miller Lending as well. They're not just going to do the business because they want to do the business. They're going to make sure that it's right for you. I've been told straight up by Miller Lending in the past, nah, it's not time to refinance. I was like, oh, okay. Other places would be like, yeah, let's get you going. You know, you can buy down your rate. I got a sucker here. Let's go. No, that's not how Miller Lending works. They're going to make sure that you're doing it in the best interest of your house. So hit them up, millerlending.com/theog. Or call them directly at 919-447-3377. We've been sitting here talking about a home and buying a home and things like that. Well, there's one spot to do it. Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. Check them out. You can buy and sell with confidence. With Hometown Realty, they understand the market. They understand the demand in the market right now. They're not going to do one of these silly guaranteed cash offers, which is going to benefit them, not you. Maximize the value of your home. and use Hometown Realty in the process. And of course, you want to make sure you're saving money on your home insurance, your auto insurance. Matt Davis can do that for you. InsureGarner.com, 919-779-8277. That is Matt Davis, here local in Garner. Just start the conversation, man. You don't know where those things can take you. Just start the conversation and see where you can save money on your home and auto. So call Matt Davis directly at 919-779-8277. Oh, man, we're losing Giglio. Sleepy time. All that wonder water's not doing you any wonder now, is it, Joe?
Listen, I got to get ready for the big show.
Okay. The After Dark?
Tonight
you're saving it all. Saving all my takes
for you.
For you tonight during the After Dark. That's where you're at? All right, fair enough. Let's go back to the OG Sports Phone, shall we?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
Of course, the OG Sports Phone brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. I was a little ramped up from watching the latest arc of Andor on Disney Plus. So I had to take that gummy to knock me out. What?
If you're trying to engage me, I don't think Andor.
You would like Andor.
Are the way.
You would like Andor.
It's very ponderous, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there is some. I mean, we're talking. There are some committee meetings. You love a meeting. You'll love a meeting from the Empire. A lot of those could just been emails, right? So yeah, you'll enjoy a lot of soliloquies in this show. Very Shakespearean.
Whoa,
you'd like it though. All right, to a 910 text to the sports phone. Just finished yesterday's episode. I'm the same as Ovies. Maybe it's my ADHD, but spoiler alerts do not bother me at all. I almost enjoy them because I know I need to focus on what's about to happen. This is in relation to somebody yesterday complaining that the Carolina Hurricanes app is too good and that it was 20 seconds ahead of the Jacob Slavin goal in overtime.
Did you just send a text to the text line?
I don't have a 910. You know this.
Oh, well, you might have just changed it right there.
Well, this is from Glitched Perception on YouTube. Ovies. I like them spoiling the outcome because I wasn't paying attention. That's what I was. Is that what you interpreted it as?
I like that.
That's one way to do it. Chip texted me. Chip Patterson, cover 3.
Chip.
He had texted me earlier this afternoon regarding the mobile score alerts and the streaming delays. The pleasure pain nexus is achieved by keeping the phone in your pocket or nearby intense moments. You feel or hear the alert getting triggered to lock in, but still don't know if it's good or bad news. As a matter of principle, across other sports, especially college football, I am on your side. Watching with the stat broadcast open has me dialed in on important stuff. That's what I'm getting at. It dials me in. Like, oh, something's about to happen I truly need to pay attention to. Not, I'm doing something. I'm not reading an Andor breakdown on Reddit while the game is going on. I'm not doing that. I'll do that during intermission. What?
I'm laughing because the Bush Apple Reddit. The one that Hayes found.
Yeah, so let me pull that text up. Where we at from Hayes here? Yeah, so Hayes, like me, lurks on Reddit. I occasionally post on Reddit.
Apparently I do too.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So I guess there's been a conversation about the Bush Light Apple. And you were down at P Street Market, right?
Yes, Chris had a run, man. 50 cases.
50?
Not 12 packs, cases in an hour when they got a premature delivery last Thursday. They're supposed to have more today. He said.
You going after the show to get your Bapple for tonight?
Not for tonight. I'm not going to drink until next week. So great restraint on my
What
part.
are you doing in one of these, like, I'm not drinking for a hot minute situation?
No. Last week was just long.
Okay.
My birthday, the OG birthday.
You ain't built like you used to.
No.
So this was from the Raleigh Reddit. Hayes had
Yeah.
taken a screen grab of this. A person complaining about how they tried a few places that claim to have the Bappel on the locator website. I love that there's a locator
There is.
website.
Yes.
Anyone seen any firsthand out in the wild? I'm very thirsty. And somebody responded, Keekly Farley, found Giglio's burner. Just out here looking for the Bappel. I couldn't do it, man. I just
you
could
didn't
not.
like it.
Because
It
I'm
was
not an apple
beer.
juice. I'm not an apple juice guy.
The peach was more of a beer.
Yeah.
This is more of a juice.
Yeah. This is from CU Space Cowboy multiple times. They took offense to the fact that you called Slavin, quote, a random defenseman. The fact he called Slavin a random defenseman is fucking wild. And then you mentioned it yesterday.
Whoa.
And I
score
think, though. So okay, this is the thing that bothers me. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step in here because I think this is a problem we have, especially when it comes to Canes coverage, when it comes to Canes talk, right? If you've heard, it's like the person who got mad at Luke about coming on after Maniscalco and saying, I'll do respect to Maniscalco, but he's wrong, right?
Yeah.
And somebody got on YouTube and was like, that was whoever that dickhead was very disrespectful to Maniscalco. And it's like, y'all understand that's how we talk to each other up in the press box. I mean, that's just what it is. If you were around the four of us up at Lenovo, that's how we're all conversing. Okay, that's just what, and we're bringing it to you on the After Dark, right? Anyway, nobody is saying that Slavin is a random defenseman. It's the history of the Canes that a defenseman that you would not expect to score is going to score in that moment. Jacob Slavin is not exactly known for his offensive output. I had somebody, when I pointed that out to this person on YouTube, so you just didn't see the 3 offensive moves he made in that goal against New Jersey? I go, no, we were lauding it. It's just not something you see out of Slavin. It's the whole conversation we had all the way back to the Four Nations tournament. It's like the light bulb goes on, like, oh, wait a minute. You mean a really good defenseman is really good at defense? Mm-hmm. What? If he was a scorer, people would talk about Slavin in a completely different way. But because he's not, that's why he's discussed the way that he is. And I'm sorry, but if your takeaway was you really think that we're saying Jacob Slavin is a random fucking defenseman, y'all pay attention to some Canes hockey history. And I'm not meaning this like in a gatekeepy way. I'm not trying to gatekeep here. I'm simply pointing out this is Canes hockey over its course of history. Straight up. Right down to the secret weapon. Nick Wallin. What do we got here? Let's see. What do we got here? Anything else? No. Oh, wait. One more. We got sent this on Instagram from Lara. This is from No Laying Up. Are you familiar with No Laying Up? It's a golf podcast. Mm-hmm. I don't know who these dudes are.
Okay.
New episode of Top Draws waiting for you in the podcast feed. Tales from the Worldwide Travels, blah, 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 blah. Again, I don't know who these guys are, but I'm going to play it anyway. And they're going to Charlotte for the PGA Championship over at Quail Hollow. Here is what did I say?
That one comment. Charlotte is white Atlanta.
Well, we're getting there. It's warmer Columbus, Ohio. Dang. All right. So you know where this is going.
Speaking of Charlotte, I got to go there next week. PGA. Randy, I think the people of Charlotte should just apologize. Even like in general, in advance, just in blanket. General.
Yeah.
A couple people have reached out to me like, hey, any restaurant recommendations in Charlotte? No, I don't have any. I've never had a good meal in Charlotte. Like, I don't think there's a good like non-chain restaurant there. It's the most vanilla, bland place. And you got the fake Queen City moniker, all that stuff.
I mean, that pisses me off. God, it's such a popular city though. There's
I know, but there's just nothing. There's just nothing going on. It's a bunch of like mid-level junior bankers.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm putting Charlotte on notice. Like you better show out next week for me. Otherwise.
Yeah. Like what is the culture of Charlotte? That's a great, you're right. It's
like NASCAR.
It's just like Diet Atlanta, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple things going on.
Are you about to defend Charlotte?
I feel
like you are.
I'm about to defend Charlotte.
I feel like we've reached full circle.
We have. I'm about to defend Charlotte because there's a couple of things going on with this clip that bother the hell out of me. One is Yes, I forgot that all cities must cater to average-looking white bros with a beard. My bad. Charlotte, show out for me. Buddy, who the fuck are you? Like, no offense, but like, why does Charlotte have to roll the red carpet out for a golf podcaster? And I'm not in any way, shape, or form demeaning the podcast. Hi, we're doing this thing, but I would expect the same thing. Like, we roll up to an ACC tournament event. It's like, well, ACC better bring it. No, I'm just glad you credentialed me. Okay? Like, honestly, that's my general attitude. Attitude number 2. If you can't find a dope spot in a city in America, that's a you problem. You're not doing any research. You're not asking any of your listeners who might happen to be in Charlotte, say, hey, man, what's a good spot? You and I both know this. We'll have people who will reach out to us that are coming into town to call a game, whether it's somebody at their paper, somebody at ESPN, say, hey, man, where do I need to go? And we usually have our list of recommendations. And typically they'll be like, oh, man, that was great. Okay. So there's that aspect too. That's a you problem. You're not reaching out to your people to see where to go in Charlotte. And number 3, a recommendation. May I suggest you go to Custom Shop? Now, I have a family connection to the owner and chef of Custom Shop, but it's a very, very good Charlotte restaurant. Or you can just go to Plaza Midwood area and stumble into a nice spot. If you could go to Burial for beer and then stumble across to Calle Sol that has really good Cuban food, by the way. If you're looking for good Cuban food in Charlotte.
What was the breakfast place we went to? It's a chain, but it was good.
Oh, Rhino Market?
Yeah.
That was pretty good too. Yeah. We were able to walk to it.
Yeah.
And they had all your hydration.
Yeah.
Which is key. Anyway, just Justin. It's like Justin says the whitest dudes. I mean, what about Diet Atlanta or whatever? Hey. First off. I am very aware of my average white bro-ness, okay? I'm not trying to act like I'm something I'm not. I'm very fully aware of this stuff. I mean, I'm like the whitest Cuban you know. Let's be real here. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I love the attitude of, what's your city bringing for me? Well, what are you bringing to the city, dude? Congrats, you're going to a golf tournament. Sorry, you're going to spend more time in the tent anyway eating the free food. Let's be real. Anyway.
There is that.
Sorry.
Also, if you're not from here or don't have a Bojangles, like even that's a treat.
Yeah, that's true too. You can go to the original one. Midtown Cabaret, early bird breakfast steak buffet in the champagne room. Yes, thank you, Just. I know you're not talking about, but again, I will also own that I'm just an average white dude at the end of the day. Anyway, I mean, for heaven's sake, I'm wearing a freaking Patagonian jeans today. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see you all tonight for an After Dark. Will Giglio be awake?
Yes, I'm going to take a nap.
Will he have the Bapple?
No Bapple.
Weak sauce. Anyway, we'll see you tonight.